जय सिया राम दर्शकों। मैं उमेश अग्रवाल बोल रहा हूँ अंबर ज़ैदी की चैनल पे। और आज हमारे साथ है मेजर समर तूर। इनकी बारे में मैं यही बता सकता हूँ कि he is one of the most admired person in the media sector, and he is a army man, and he was posted in Siachen Glacier. He was with the United Nations as well, and he was part of the peacekeeping force. Uh, and he was posted in South Sudan and part of the 8th Regiment Rajputana Rifles. He is now retired from the active service, and now he's working and sharing his expertise with many of startups across the country. So it's good to have you, sir. Yes, Yaram.
Thank you. Thank you. Jai Shri Ram and Sat Shri Akal and Adab and all the salutations of greetings to everybody. कैसे हैं आप? जय हिंद.
Sir, मैं बढ़िया हूँ. I was just scanning the web and I came to know that your movie is coming with based on your journey. John Abraham is coming up with a movie, so it would
Yes.
be lovely to watch your film on screen, and I'm eagerly awaiting for that. And sir,
Thank you.
uh, to-
Thank you.
and sir, today we are going to speak about China. We know that Wang Yi is in India, but as
Yes.
we know, Wang Yi is known as Wolf Warrior. Means that these people have always been known to exhibit Chinese domination across the world. And today we are seeing that a foreign minister from China coming to India, ready for a peace talks across the border, ready for all the demands met by India. What is the reason, sir? What is happening in China? Why is suddenly China is getting cozier up with India? आज इंडिया के साथ क्यों चाइना इतना कोजियर हो रहा है? ये बहुत जानने की बात है। सर, उसके बारे में कुछ आप हमें बताएंगे तो बढ़िया रहेगा।
आई विल गो थोड़ा सा पीछे जाते हैं. तो
हम्म,
चाइना ने पाकिस्तान के साथ हाथ इसलिए मिलाया थिंकिंग कि सी इट इज practically not possible to cut a highway between the Himalayas to China. It is a next to impossible task क्योंकि it is हो सकता है but it will be like playing with nature. So it was but natural for China to approach Pakistan for CPEC. Had Indian terrain been more better and favorable, definitely China would have come to India and said कि भाई please we want to set up a trading route through India. Because Bombay is any day nearer to China in some way compared to Karachi port. So the reason was that the approach as per the terrain was possible for China and their construction companies. They had a deal. Over the years, many things happened side by side, including the Afghanistan war, Iraq war, Syrian war. Then recently, the Iran and Israel 12-day war had happened with them. Israel, Gaza has happened, Azerbaijan, Armenia, and Russia, Ukraine. So wherever you see, there have been footprints of China, uh, mostly seen in Iran, especially for the air defense that Iran is having, and in terms of drone technology, semiconductors is what China has been supporting them for. And eventually, Iran has become one of the major players after Turkey in drone warfare. In fact, Iran is the first country to have disclosed to the world of having an aircraft carrier for drones only, followed by China later. So, which was made public. I'm sure China would have had it before Iran, but Iran had publicly showed their drone craft carrier ship. So these are the things. Then Yemen got involved. So you see the geopolitics. Lot many things were going on simultaneously, but China opted to focus more on development and production. As a result, what happened? Let's take example of Apple iPhone. It is designed and patented in America, but it is wholly solely manufactured right from scratch to finish in China. And in China, probably one iPhone would cost around $50 overall production cost. Why? Because China is so abundantly rich in raw materials that the actual working cost is just $50 per mobile. And then when they provide these iPhones in bulk to USA, the Apple company sells it 10 times the cost, which is approximately $500 to $1,000 per phone. So look at the margin in which it has happened. As a result, it was a trap which was set up by China, a trap of greed, a trap where they offered their labor at dirt cheap rates. And keeping this strategic move in mind by the Chinese, all the technical know-how, for example, when you create a component, you require sub-assembly fitments and those machines for doing very complex operations, though they might be of very bare minimum relevance. For example, a very minute spring has to be pressed into a pin, so that task cannot be done humanly possible with bare hands. So you need these fitments or sub-fitment assemblies, as we call them. So these fitments make a job very easy. It reduces the assembly time by multifold and the human effort and man hours. So this is the basic catch that the Chinese were winning over the years. That whichever product they were making, they were given the blueprint of the raw material. They were told all the secret ingredients. Why? Because the labor was dirt cheap. So Americans never thought it necessary or basic requirement at all to produce anything at all in America. So right from the blueprint to the finished product to the packaging, everything they outlet they gave it to China. As a result, in today's times, China has acquired the knowledge and technical know-how of manufacturing all these components at very cheap rates. And due to tariffs, now the Chinese market is laying vacant because of the loss that they will suffer by giving selling these items back to the USA. So the Chinese have taken it upon themselves to sell these items in open market by opening up the Chinese market to the world directly. As a result, we have these meetings with China now. It has to recover the debt. It has to cover the deficit which has been created because of the tariffs. And to keep the momentum, they will come to India. They will go to every country, important or less important, to sell their items as Chinese brands, as made in China. So, right from a Nike shoe or a Adidas shoe to, you could say, Prada or Zara clothing, to Rolex watches, everything to a Range Rover, to a Hummer or whichever high end luxury vehicle is concerned, they have been dealing in manufacturing some components or critical components of all these vehicles, and they have been able to copy the designs and the blueprints of all these vehicles and daily life items. As a result, there has been a lot of IPR theft, that is intellectual property right theft. So it is by default that the atmosphere was such that by default China became habitual of patent stealing by selling excessive items in China itself and kept the export items and orders separate. So within China, you will see iPhones with Chinese companies' names and different features, but the same phone, same shape, design, but more effective and more better in terms of its processor, in terms of its GPU output, in terms of its display and color, higher quality screens and resolutions, and better sound quality and better noise reduction capabilities. And you have face recognition softwares which are linked to the government server system. So wherever your mobile is, the government would either know that either you are on the move, or else if you are going to make any payment, you do not need any credit card. You need to just scan your face and the payment is done. So they have centralized everything over the years, where many people protest that right to privacy has been hampered, and now they judge a individual on social credit score. So
Yeah.
because of this, an individual says that due to certain circumstances, if somebody happens to do a crime or is blackmailed in some manner or the other, or is in a hurry and is not able to help a victim of accident, then that certain person's face is captured on the camera and the social score goes down. As a result, the penalties are indirectly vetted onto the victims. For example, if you do a fault, and it is a fault in terms of not being able to pay your EMI, so your children will not be able to get admission in class A city colleges. So you will be restricted to only small towns and medium type of colleges, where after graduation the child would have very limited opportunity for jobs. Oblique, there will be a cap or a restriction on the pay scale that you need if you want to transfer a job. So your financially you will be restrained, or you will be pulled down, and you will not be given opportunities. So even if you want to apply for a job online, that option will not appear only in the options bar. So this is the repercussions of social credit score, which has taken its toll on the Chinese citizens. So there are a lot of disgruntlement also. And similarly, over the years, when Russia wanted to sell its military equipment, a bare minimum order was given, which Russia was very suspicious about, but was convinced by the Chinese that no, we will place a larger order, but this is the initial order. The modus operandi was to reverse engineer everything and to steal the patent and blueprint of the Russian war fighting machines, right from all transport aircrafts to fighter jets to early warning AVOC systems and aircrafts. And so once that was done, Russia has put a total ban on selling of any military equipment to China, only because of the reverse engineering.
Sir, I came to know that the S-400 systems which we are having and what the Chinese are having, they are something very much different. We are having the most very effective variant of S-400. And you have rightly stated that Chinese are the masters of reverse engineering, and they have been carrying out this patent stealing through the Confucius Institute in West. And also, you are right that they do have a high amount of social security code, and it is a incentivizing compliance. बट आपको नहीं लगता सर, जिस हिसाब से चाइना के अंदर आई केम टू कम टू नो न्यूज दैट एवरग्रांड का लिक्विडेशन होने वाला है. एवरग्रांड इज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट व्हाट यू से द इट्स अ सिंबल ऑफ चाइनीज रियलिटी. मतलब रियलिटी, चाइनीज रियलिटी कंपनी, वन ऑफ द लार्जेस्ट चाइनीज रियलिटी कंपनी जो बैंकरप्ट हो चुका है. एंड उसको बताया जा रहा है कि उसका लिक्विडेशन चालू हो गया, उसके शेयर जो है उसकी जो ट्रेडिंग है वो बंद करके रख दी है. टोटल क्रेडिटर्स उनके हैं जो बताया जाता है $45 बिलियन, और उन्होंने एसेट्स अभी तक एक तरह से मतलब एक तरह से उन्होंने सेल कर पाए हैं. दैट वाज ओनली $255 मिलियन. इट इज 0.5% ऑफ द क्लेम्स. और इसका जो इफेक्ट आएगा चाइना के अंदर उनके रियलिटी सेक्टर्स पे भी आएगा. अदर रियलिटी कंपनीज लाइक फेंटेशिया है, कंट्री गार्डन है, वांके ग्रुप है, उनके ऊपर भी आएगा. तो कहीं ना कहीं ये जो होगा, इट विल सेट अ बॉल ऑफ, जो बोलते हैं ना, मोशन ऑफ डिफॉल्ट्स अक्रॉस चाइना. और एक चीज है सर, चाइना के अंदर दैट 51 सिटीज जिसमें बताया जा रहा है कि $100 बिलियन का इन्वेस्टमेंट किया हुआ है, दे हैव टर्न गोस्ट सिटीज. वहां पे कोई नहीं रहता है, तो इफेक्टिवली वहां पे भी प्रॉब्लम चालू हो चुका है. और सर ये कैसे होगा कि आगे जाके ये चाइना का जो रियलिटी स्टॉक है, वहां के बैंकिंग सेक्टर का प्रॉब्लम चल रहा है, जिस हिसाब से चल रहा है, ये उसके इंटरनल सिचुएशन ऑफ चाइना में ऐसे हो रही है जहां पे लोग बोल रहे हैं सीसीबी इज नॉट चाइना. ऐसी भी बातें आ रही है. दैट इज बीन मास प्रोटेस्ट. और सर वो भी बताइए कि चाइना ने जिस हिसाब से नए वेलफेयर मेजर्स बोला है कि आपको सोशल सिक्योरिटी मेजर्स देने हैं, जिसके कारण सुना जा रहा है कि बहुत सारी जो प्राइवेट फर्म्स हैं, जो लो ऑपरेटिंग मार्जिन पे काम करती है, दे आर गोइंग बस, मतलब ओवरनाइट वो लोग जा रहे हैं। देयर हैज बीन अ मैसिव अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट व्हिच इज हैपनिंग इन चाइना। बताया जा रहा है कि 20% तो सिर्फ जो बोलते हैं ना कि पीपल, जो पीपल हु हैव स्टडीड, ग्रेजुएट्स, जो व्हाइट कॉलर जॉब्स, वहां पर अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट है, ये तो ऑफिशियल है। और अनऑफिशियल फिगर बोल रहे हैं 50% तक। कितना बड़ा ये लग रहा है कि एक तरह से कैन वी सी सम सॉर्ट ऑफ अ रेवोल्यूशन बिल्डिंग अप इन चाइना, जहाँ पे लोगों का एक गुस्सा फूट जाए और सडनली वी विल सी सम सॉर्ट ऑफ ओवरऑल अपराइजिंग इन चाइना अगेंस्ट द सीसीपी। पॉसिबल लगता है सर आपको?
See, I doubt, because see, until unless there is some rift in the top brass of the Chinese regime, I do not think there is a possibility of overthrowing of the government. Number one. Number two, yes, after Hong Kong was handed over to China, that rhetoric of wanting a democracy has increased, and this multiplied multifold in the Hong Kong riots which had happened. And now, see, the problem is that in China there are, I believe, 7 provinces. So वहां पे क्या होता है कि आप अगर एक सर्टन प्रोविंस में पैदा हुए हो तो आपको उसी प्रोविंस की आइडेंटिटी मिलती है. यू कैन ट्रैवल ओनली विद इन दैट प्रोविंस. You want to cross over and go to another province, you need local administrative permissions. You cannot roam around in China saying that I am from Xinjiang, I want to go to Beijing. वहां पे पूछेंगे भाई क्यों जाना है, किस लिए जाना है, क्या काम है वहां पे तुम्हें. इफ यू से नहीं, मैं छुट्टी मनाने जाना है, पहली चीज तो इतने पैसे है ही नहीं लोगों के पास जो छुट्टी मना के आ जाए. ठीक है, ऊपर से डिस्टेंस टू बी कवर्ड आर इनॉर्मस, बिकॉज बहुत बड़ी कंट्री है. ठीक है. एंड सी, China has restricted majority of its people, especially the labor people, from visiting Beijing, because see, Beijing is so overdeveloped compared to the overall condition of the provinces, that if somebody goes to Beijing, they will feel very left out and segregated, and that realization that other states have been boycotted compared to the development of Beijing and how it is upgraded. So that discrimination feeling will come. So to avoid that, they send only very selected people for training and to visit Beijing. Now in China, the measurement of success is materialistically defined. अगर तुम्हारे पास ऑडी या मर्सिडीज है, यू आर अ सक्सेसफुल पर्सन. यू हैव अ 3 or a 4 BHK, you are a successful person, है ना. You have a 6-figure salary or 7-figure salary, you are a successful person. So in cities, those Chinese who are living in cities cannot imagine or fathom how a life in villages is, because they have been born and brought up in cities. Those who are in semi towns, very selective few are capable and able to go and adjust in the cities. So basically, China adopted this program so that they could develop all the provinces independently. Why? For example, Nike shoes, you want the raw material of cloth, which is majority available in one certain province. So they decided to first set up the factories at locations which is nearest to raw material. Number one, not even human population, which is nearest to raw material. Then to get the working force, they relocated all the villages near the factories, and then they developed community centers, they developed schools, hostels and colleges within that vicinity of that certain town, which is resource rich in providing a raw material for a certain product. एज अ रिजल्ट एक जनरेशन पेरेंट्स की वहीं पे काम करके निकल गई. फिर सेकंड जनरेशन जब बच्चे हुए तो बच्चों ने ज्वाइन कर ली फैक्ट्री. फिर थर्ड जनरेशन बच्चों की हुई तो उन्होंने भी, बिकॉज दे डू नॉट नो व्हाट इज बियॉन्ड दैट. They are like working machines. So it is
Got
basically, हाँ, इट इज लाइक यू आर प्रोग्राम्ड इन सच अ वे कि आपको एक्सपोजर देते ही नहीं है कि आपकी नेबरिंग स्टेट में कितनी डेवलपमेंट हो रही है. You are only restricted within that certain area throughout your life. So that is how things have been working in China. So those in the northern Chinese provinces have not seen war, have not seen any hardships or difficult times. So they are totally relaxed. But similarly, those military personnel and people who are posted in the south of China or southwest of China against the Himalayas and the Indian border, they are the ones who are actually facing the brunt. Rest दूसरे प्रोविंसेस के कभी इस प्रोविंस में आए ही नहीं है. तो टुमारो इन वॉर सिनेरियो, अगर इन प्रोविंसेस की पॉपुलेशन या लोगों में कहीं कमी आ गई है, हॉस्टिलिटीज बहुत ज्यादा हुई, तो इट विल बी डिफिकल्ट फॉर चाइना टू रीएडजस्ट एंड री इन्फोर्स troops from another province to where the battle is taking place. But one upper hand is that all of these troops belonging to one certain province probably know each other very well. So as a teamwork, yes, they can be there together. But as far as the secret ingredient, which is the willpower to fight, is very indecisive. So basically, they lack the reason of patriotism or the reason for why they are going to fight against India. Because practically seeing, India is a peace loving country, which is a democracy. And whenever anything has happened, a betrayal has happened, it has come from the Chinese side. So in today's modern times, definitely word goes out, and the Chinese are definitely aware up to a certain extent as to why the Chinese regime is very aggressive and oppressive towards everyone, including their own people. For example, they have converted mosques into bars and hotels. This
toilets.
is the, yes, so this is the amount of mindset that China has. And the most funny part is that none of the Afghanis have said anything to them, none of the Iranians have said anything to them, nobody has said anything to China when it comes to oppression against the Muslims. The whole Muslim world is quiet. So that itself speaks for the aura and the respect that China commands in the Muslim world. Secondly, all Arab nations are mostly dependent upon Chinese goods. The majority of them, and majority of the exports from China go to the Gulf. Okay, compared to India or any other country. At one point of time, we were the largest importer of things, but after Galwan, things changed. So, lesson learned for India was never to be dependent on a certain technology on a country. That's why Atmanirbhar Bharat was the result of a successful Op Sindoor. Had we not followed the Atmanirbhar model, which was put in place by Shri Narendra Modi ji, I think we would have heavily and 90% dependent would have been dependent upon Israel. कि आप प्लीज हमें मदद करो. Not that we don't take their help now, but comparatively, the amount of help that we take from them is very less compared to previous years. Then comes the technological gap, which is very, very large between China and India. They are very much way ahead. Why? Because you see, अगर तुम्हारे पास 65 GB का चोरी वाला डेटा है F-35 का, तो तुमने तो 15 से 20 साल की मेहनत को तो आपने एक महीने में कवर कर ली, वो 65 GB चोरी करके. चलो 2-3 साल में आपने रिकवर ने चोरी की. इट टुक चाइना 3 to 4 years टू स्टील 65 GB of classified data at the cost of 7 to 8 Chinese citizens being jailed in USA. So it is worth it. Look at them now with all this technology that they have reverse engineered in Abbottabad. Even the stealth helicopter that crashed, Pakistan gave them the wreckage to do the reverse engineering on the material, which they have been successful in it. And they have made the material, basically the paint. It is basically the paint, the coated layer of the paint, which makes it stealth. It is not that the metal is of different composite metals are together, so that is why it is stealth. No, main is the overall cover, the covering and the layering of the paint, which absorbs the radar signatures and the it stops the Doppler effect by absorbing all the frequencies. But you see, technology has improved so much that wherever the frequencies get absorbed and don't come back, that certain signature is also formed in the computer now. So it's the reverse effect of it. That if this is the shape in which it is going, and this is the last reading of the rays going, frequency going, so they will make out the shape of the aircraft. So, as per the latest technology, there was a reason why India was able to detect the F-35 in Kerala, even much before it came with a warning. So, you see things, I mean, it's not necessary for a government to tell everyone all the time that they have this technology. So these are technologies which need to be kept in secret and cannot be shared openly with anyone.
Sir,
So
one
yeah.
सर वन मोर थिंग सर, इफ यू सी द सोशल स्ट्रक्चर जो आप चाइना में देखते हैं, जहाँ पे बताया जाता है कि पहले वन चाइल्ड पॉलिसी थी, अभी थ्री चाइल्ड पॉलिसी कर दिया। और डेटा यहाँ तक आ रहा है कि लास्ट ईयर देयर वर 6.1 मिलियन मैरिजेस इन चाइना एंड देयर वर astonishingly 3.7 मिलियन डाइवोर्सेस, मतलब 57.5% डाइवोर्सेस बढ़ रहा है। और एक तरह से सोशल स्ट्रक्चर, नोबडी वांट्स टू हैव a family right now.
Umesh, you really think Chinese government is bothered about the social structure? जब डंडे से काम चल रहा है तो सोशल स्ट्रक्चर जो मर्जी हो. Not because of COVID, there have been so many orphans and widows and males who have been widowed, females who've been widowed. They don't have any families left. They, in fact, whoever was COVID positive, they welded their doors in societies. Welding कर दी थी कि भैया निकलो ही मत, बस तुम बालकनी से टोकरी नीचे करो, सामान डालेंगे ऊपर, खींच लो, खाना बना लो. It was like that bad. So a country which can openly eat any crawling or walking animal, you really think it would have any relevance in terms of human life? We saw the graves, right? There were hundreds and thousands of people. Their mass graves were set up. So yes, there has been disgruntlement among the public, but end of the day, it all depends how many from the regime were affected. If majority of the regime's officials, family members had passed away, then there could have been an immediate revolt against the leadership. बट जब सारे ही ऊपर के टॉप नॉच बॉसेस, जब टॉप ब्रासी इफेक्ट नहीं हो रहा है, तो देयर इज नोबडी टू प्रोटेस्ट. एंड व्हाट आर पीपल एंड द मैसेज फॉर द चाइनीज? नथिंग. End of the day, it is the Chinese military. So it is, I somehow felt that yes, COVID as a plague would have even overwhelmed their military, but it did not happen to be otherwise, and they still were able to overcome all the difficulties and still survive. So you see, डर के आगे आई डोंट थिंक जीत है. डर के आगे जीत नहीं है. और बिकॉज द चाइनीज विल ओनली टर्मिनेट यू, they will not even put you in jail. You protest, you're gone. It's a death sentence.
एक्सटर्मिनेशन बोलते हैं.
हाँ, तो if somebody is fed up in China and he said यार बस मैं जिंदगी नहीं जीना चाहता, वो जाके सरकार को उंगली करने लग जाता है कि आ जा तेरी ऐसी तैसी, let's see what will you do. So that is the mental psyche that they have been pushed to. Now, what is the difference between North Korea and China? Chinese have access to food. They grow their own food. Their children have education. Everything is sorted, but in a very controlled manner. नॉर्थ कोरिया में खाना भी कम है, मैल न्यूट्रिशन ज्यादा है, भूखमरी भी है, डेथ्स भी हैं, ऑकवर्ड रूल्स भी हैं, एंड पॉपुलेशन इज वीक, क्योंकि वो खाना ही उतना देता है कि ना रिवोल्ट कर सके और बस जस्ट आर एबल टू सर्वाइव, ना कि वो कंट्री से भाग सके. तो दे आर स्टक इन बिटवीन. तो रिसोर्सेज इतनी कंट्रोल्ड है नॉर्थ कोरिया में, डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन इज सो कंट्रोल्ड बाय द गवर्नमेंट दैट पीपल नो कि इवन इफ आई प्रोटेस्ट और इफ आई वांट टू रन अवे आई कांट, बिकॉज आई एम ऑलरेडी मैल नरिश्ड and I do not have any place to go, and even if I manage to go, all my family members behind will be killed. तो या तो पूरी फैमिली जाए, वो हो नहीं सकता, because any movement in North Korea in big groups is immediately noticed and is dispersed by the government.
सर
चाइना में ऐसा नहीं है.
सर वन मोर थिंग, अभी एक रिपोर्ट्स आ रहे हैं, ये इसको बोलते हैं अनकन्फर्म रूमर्स, स्पेकुलेशन हो रहा है कि चाइना के अंदर एक मूवमेंट जैसा बन रहा है जिसमें लोग बोल रहे हैं कि सीसीपी इज नॉट चाइना. देयर हैव बीन रिपोर्ट्स अबाउट शी जिनपिंग हेल्थ इजराइल. इवन अ यूएस बेस्ड ब्रॉडकास्टर ने बताया कि शी जिनपिंग हैज बीन शिफ्टेड टू देयर हॉस्पिटल 301 हॉस्पिटल, which is considered to be the place where high profile leaders are being kept. And it was said that बहुत सारे प्रोविंसेस से उन लोगों ने स्पेशलिस्ट भी बुलाए हैं. तो कहीं ना कहीं चाइना के अंदर एक तरह से बोलते हैं जनरेशनल लीडरशिप चेंज हो सकता है. और बताया जाता है कि जी का जो एक्सेसिव सेंट्रलाइजेशन ऑफ पावर है, जैसे वो प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ चाइना है, वो चेयरमैन है चाइनीज मिलिट्री कमीशन के, जनरल सेक्रेटरी है कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी ऑफ चाइना के. तो कहीं ना कहीं वो एक तरह से बात हो रही है कि वहां पे एक फैक्शंस है आपस में, दे आर ट्राइंग टू गो फॉर ट्रांजिशन पावर स्ट्रगल, समथिंग ऐसा कुछ हो रहा है. तो हाउ ट्रू इट इज, मतलब इस पे भरोसा कर सकते हैं क्या? क्योंकि देयर आर बीन रूमर्स अबाउट इट फ्रॉम वेरी लॉन्ग, लाइक 2-3 साल से मैं खुद सुन रहा हूँ कि जी इज सफरिंग फ्रॉम सम सॉर्ट ऑफ मेंटल डिजीज एंड अदर थिंग्स. आई डोंट नो हाउ ट्रू इट इज, बट व्हाट डू यू सी? एंड ऑल्सो एक और एक चीज है, चाइना के अंदर आपने बरोबर बताया कि उनका जो मिलिट्री जो सर्वेलेंस बजट है, इट इज 196 बिलियन डॉलर, मतलब 200 बिलियन डॉलर. पर्सपेक्टिव में बता देता हूँ, इंडिया का जो डिफेंस बजट है वो 75 to 80 बिलियन डॉलर है. इतना ज्यादा तो इंटरनल सर्वेलेंस भी करते हैं, फियरिंग रिवोल्ट एंड अदर थिंग. आपको क्या लगता है कि जी जिनपिंग का क्या पॉलिटिकल फ्यूचर है? क्योंकि उनकी वाइफ भी दिखी नहीं है पब्लिक में बहुत दिनों से, और बताया जाता है कि उन्होंने एक तरह से जो लास्ट सेशन हुआ था सीसीपी का मई में, वहां पे ही वाज ब्लैंक कट मेनी टाइम्स, ही वाज नॉट बीन एबल टू से एनीथिंग, और उसका पब्लिक एक्सपीरियंस भी बहुत कम हो चुका है. व्हाट डू यू हैव टू से अबाउट दिस?
See, it just takes one moment for everything to come back to normal. That is his public appearance. So I think in on the 3rd or 5th of September there is a military parade where Xi Jinping will be seen. There are state of the art sixth generation and futuristic weapon systems which have been seen, including tanks and many different new generation aircrafts. Especially all are unmanned, none of them are manned. So that is the level of technology. Day before yesterday, underwater submersible vehicle was also seen, which is in the shape of a torpedo. So it can take the soldiers, approximately 10 to 15 soldiers in that one torpedo type underwater vehicle. And in the end, that once they reach their objective or towards a boat, it can become a explosive torpedo and go towards the target, go explode, and these men can then swim across onto the shore. Okay, then they have different type of pontoon bridges which are very big, but it is very time consuming to set it up. So you see, militarily they are very way ahead. They can manufacture one Indian Navy in a year if they want. That is the shipbuilding capacity, approximately 230 to 250 ships in a year, which I think US is also not able to manage anymore. So, and they have also delivered submarines to Pakistan. So, I certainly
Understood.
feel that, see, they are the country who have written the book, The Art of War. They are the masters of deception and delay. ठीक है, डिसेप्शन एंड डिले. सो इन लोगों से, आई मीन, इट विल बी फूलिश फॉर एनी कंट्री टू हैव ब्लाइंड फेथ एंड ट्रस्ट इन चाइना. नंबर वन, they are very selfish people. They will only have one objective, that is their self interest. So the reason now, let us come, is why are they here in India is because American economy is on the brink. The tariffs put on China are now having implication on its labor. The sales have dropped. The manufacturing and supply is very strong. So whatever salaries and everything are not being able to be paid by the companies, because most of the buyers from China have stopped taking equipment from China because of the tariffs. And so because of this, uh, there are a lot of issues which are coming up, as you had said, that they are not able to pay the salaries also, and many people are protesting. So एक limit आता है when you are over producing and demand becomes less. So as a result of the American economy going down, the demand is plummeted to an all-time low, and the supply is at an all-time high for China because it has maintained that rate of supply. Now to sell that, they need India to be in good terms so that they can open up and sell all this material to India and to the ASEAN countries, because there are no other takers. The only fourth largest economy moving to number three to replace Germany is only India. So
Yes.
it'll be China, USA, and then India.
And
So
there has been also a talk about Indian government allowing Chinese investments in some critical component sector where they have to bring the technology, 24% stake, something like that. And Prime
they
Minister
and
Modi
they
is
will be
going
ready
to.
to do it. I mean, you
Mhm.
see BYD, Build Your Dream, the vehicle
Yes.
company. I have forever been warning everybody that if a military personnel or a scientist who has purchased this vehicle is parking it in Sriharikota or in a military installation, the Chinese can easily have access to the camera and the GPS sensors of the vehicle. And they can even look through the cameras of the car while it is parked in these secretive installations. So
Mhm.
Israel is the first country to ban all BYD vehicles from entering all military and sensitive classified locations. In fact, they've stopped the dealership of BYD in Israel. So that is what I've been harping upon in India, that these vehicles will eventually become uh, the communication towers for China if they want to have a deep strike in India through their drones. They needn't have any satellite. These cars are enough to behave like repeaters of sensors. So,
Digital sleeper cells, you can call them.
yes, exactly. Unmanned.
Yeah.
So, you can
Yes.
imagine.
And it's
So,
uh, it's really frightening to know, sir, what is the level of they can do the surveillance on snooping on us, and there is
they have
really a concern.
EMP
But
technology. They've developed a bomb,
yeah, electromagnetic
electromagnetic pulse
pulse.
with graphite in their missile systems. So that can just one bomb into the power grid, it's done. Your power grid is useless, and then you are
Yeah.
without electricity. So first day you will be without electricity. By second day, all the food in the fridge will start rotting. By the third day or the fourth day, water will become less because water treatment plants will be shut. Okay. By the fifth or sixth day, your mobile batteries will run out. or by the 7th or 8th day your power banks will give up, or by
Complete.
the 10th or 15th day your generator gensets fuel or diesel will become less. After that what? उसके बाद क्या करोगे?
इट्स अ कम्युनिकेशन ब्लैक होल। मतलब आपको एक तरह से कुछ करने की जरूरत ही नहीं है। जो
Nothing.
अगर
You
आपके पास
just electromagnetic pulse वाले bombs गिरा दो,
हम्म,
ठप है system, you're gone. Your
उसको
infrastructure will remain intact, but it can never be repaired. It will only have to be replaced.
रिप्लेस बरोबर।
तो आप कहां से पावर ग्रिड को रातों रात एक्टिवेट करोगे? यू विल हैव टू इंस्टॉल एवरी कंपोनेंट, एवरी इलेक्ट्रिकल चिप, ऑल फ्रॉम स्क्रैच, डिस्पाइट यू बीइंग एबल टू होल्ड इट, सी इट एंड स्विचेस, एवरीथिंग इज इंटैक्ट। बस वो बॉम्ब्स जब आसपास गिरेंगे, दे विल send that electromagnetic pulse that electrically all the circuitries will be dead.
यस, यू राइट। सर
Then what
आपने
will
जो
you do?
सर व्हाट डू यू थिंक सो दैट चाइना विल प्रेफर अ डायरेक्ट वॉर विद इंडिया, जैसे कुछ गलवान जैसा कुछ
See, I'll tell
पॉसिबल
you,
लग
they
रहा है?
have. See, we have anti-satellite missiles. They also have anti-satellite missiles. So I think the most effective way for India to counter China, if it goes out in an open war with us, is to first target their satellites. That is priority. Because during Op Sindoor, I was in J&K with a special forces unit. Trust me, we did not have effective radars or any anti-drone system to stop the drones from entering into Indian airspace. Malab, I, along with the special forces soldiers, were literally handicapped looking up in the skies and were just watching the drones enter. Though, thankfully, these drones were not armed, but they were actually ground mapping every inch of land. So, when Pakistan said that next time you wait and watch, they have actually done the ground mapping now. So, next time their missile systems will be more accurate in terms of acquiring targets in India.
यस, बट if you see the government has also अभी जिस हिसाब
सुरक्षा
से मैंने
कवच,
देखा है, एंटी ड्रोन सिस्टम बहुत सारे ऑर्डर दे दिए हैं। लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स इज बीइंग कवर्ड। तो आपको नहीं
see,
लगता है कि वी आर so
we
prepared?
we have to install anti-drone system in all public facilities. For example, the hostels कह रहा हूँ, hospital rooftops, industrial areas, key airports, की इंडस्ट्रियल एरियाज, ठीक है, जहां पे आपके रेलवे यार्ड्स होते हैं वो हो गए, ठीक है, जो
बरोबर बात।
आपके आइसोलेटेड इमरजेंसी एयर स्ट्रिप्स हैं वो हो गई, आपके
ये
ऑयल
सर,
डिपोज हो गए,
अभी
रिफाइनरीज हो गई।
मुनीर ने धमकी भी दी है कि ही विल टारगेट द जामनगर रिफाइनरी। और उन्होंने बोल दिया भले ही इनके मर्सिडीज हो, हम तो डंपस्टर है, अगर मर्सिडीज डंपस्टर से कोलाइड हो गई तो आप सोच लीजिए। तो कहीं ना कहीं आपकी बात सही लग रही है मुझे, और सही भी है कि वी नीड टू इंस्टॉल दीज सिस्टम्स अक्रॉस क्रिटिकल इंस्टॉलेशन फैसिलिटीज। बहुत जरूरी
ऑल
है
सिटीज,
क्योंकि
ऑल सिटीज,
ऑल सिटी
यस,
बॉर्डर
these
में
are
तो
basic.
जरूरी
I'll
है।
tell you why. Because when they will fire missiles from the sea, we need to cover South India also. Everything, all the coastal lines of India have to be covered.
हाँ, ऐसा नहीं है कि वी कैन अस्यूम दैट चेन्नई इज सेफ आल्सो, क्योंकि हम्बनटोटा पोर्ट पे तो उनके दे हैव द कंट्रोल ओवर द हम्बनटोटा पोर्ट इन द साउथ। तो
Yeah,
कहीं ना
I
कहीं
mean, when we go to war, in case, God forbid, if there is war, at least the Chinese ships have the right to come in the Sri Lankan international waters.
यस,
So from there, they needn't come and face us. From there only, they can launch missiles onto us.
यस,
So we need anti-air defense systems like the Patriot and David Sling and Arrow to be installed in almost all the cities,
प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी जी ने
medium
बोला
and
भी था।
big.
प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी जी ने बोला भी था ये सुदर्शन चक्र विल बी इंस्टॉल्ड
Yes,
बाय 2035। तो आई थिंक
2035. Yes.
या आपने जो बोला है वो मेरे ख्याल से कहीं ना कहीं गवर्नमेंट इज अवेयर ऑफ दिस एंड दे आर प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर अ फ्यूचर वॉर्स ऑल्सो। ये बात बरोबर है सर आपकी। सर,
यस,
आपसे आज मिलके बहुत अच्छा लगा। आपने जो इंसाइट्स दिए हैं, रियली इट वाज, आई विल से, आई ओपनर। एंड this being my first hosting as a, I'm hosting you, I'm really proud of doing that. It was really
थैंक यू।
enlightening.
पर
We'll
मैं आई
definitely
जस्ट वांट
have
टू
you.
कंक्लूड वन पार्ट,
Yeah,
उमेश,
yeah.
दैट China is on the edge because they know that they are on top now. It will be a stupidity if somebody tries to tamper with the leadership of China right now. तो ये एड़ी चोटी का जोर लगाएंगे पर सब कुछ मेंटेन रखेंगे. They have no choice but to be friends with India, because if India is hand in glove with Americans, because they are uncomfortable with Pakistan going to bed with the CIA and the Americans recently. Why? Because all the Chinese air defense systems failed. Their PE-15 series of missiles failed. All their Smirch and whatever missile system they had was shot down by Akash. So they realized that भैया चाइना से तो हमें कोई फायदा ही नहीं हुआ सामान खरीद के. So HQ9 radar systems, nothing worked. That is why Asif Munir went to USA to strike a deal with their military industrial complex by offering them Baluchistan कि भैया यहां से जितना माल निकालना है निकाल लो, हमें ए टू जेड लाइक सऊदी अरेबिया हमें वेपनाइज कर दो. तो ट्रंप ने खुशी खुशी अग्री किया कि यस, रेयर अर्थ मेटल्स वी विल गेट फ्रॉम बलूचिस्तान. तो बलूचिस्तान की जो फ्रीडम मूवमेंट थी एंड द डिस्टर्बेंस ऑफ बलूचिस्तान इज टेकन केयर ऑफ बाय दिस मूव. तो पाकिस्तान का बलूचिस्तान हेडेक इज ओवर. देन एक्सप्लॉयटेशन ऑफ द रॉ मटेरियल्स विल टेक प्लेस इन बलूचिस्तान. दीज रॉ मटेरियल्स,
सर,
चाइना
सर,
इज
मेरा
ऑलरेडी हेविली
मेरा एक
प्रेजेंट
और
इन अफगानिस्तान.
मैं मैं एक और क्वेश्चन पूछना चाह रहा हूँ। जो आप बोल रहे हो बलूचिस्तान के जो रिसोर्सेज है, उसकी जो माइन है, रेकॉर्डिक माइन, इट इज हैविंग कॉपर, लिथियम एंड गोल्ड रिजर्व्स बताया जाता है। और आज ही पाकिस्तान के वो फ्रंट जनरल ने बोला भी है कि आई हैव बीन अपॉइंटेड एज प्रोटेक्टर ऑफ पाकिस्तान, और इसके कारण पाकिस्तान को $2 बिलियन का एडिशनल रेवेन्यू होगा। तो कहीं न कहीं आपको नहीं लगता कि वो फाइन बैलेंसिंग कर पाएगा इस बार चाइना और अमेरिका के बीच में? क्योंकि चाइना हैज़ इन्वेस्टेड $70 बिलियन, सीपेक में इन्वेस्ट कर चुके हैं। कहीं न कहीं चाइनीज़ विल डेफिनिटली बी अनकंफर्टेबल कि वहाँ पे बलूचिस्तान में अगर अमेरिकन इन्वेस्टमेंट्स को सिक्योर करना है, तो बताया जाता है, आई डोंट नो इट इज़ ट्रू और नॉट, बट बताया जाता है कि द अमेरिकन स्पेशल फोर्सेस विल लैंड इन बलूचिस्तान, व्हिच इज़ हैविंग अ बॉर्डर विथ ईरान, which is having a border with
नहीं,
Afghanistan
अमेरिकन आर
also.
ऑलरेडी प्रेजेंट इन बागराम एयरबेस.
Yes, Bagram Air Base में भी
Americans are
है।
present in Bagram Air Base.
हाँ,
Secondly, they are also paying Taliban every 15 days $40 million.
मिलियन
So
डॉलर
every
यस।
month, approximately $80 million is being put on the Taliban table. Similarly, China is also mining in eastern Afghanistan, bordering China. So they have their industries, mining industries set up over there. So Taliban is well equipped in terms of money. Now the issue comes that the CPEC is gone for a toss because Pakistan has developed very close ties with the USA, which has made China to rethink their policy towards India. So it is better to have, क्या कहते हैं, two birds in one hand. क्या है? It's better to have one bird in hand than two in the bush. तो चाइना को लगा कि भैया ये दोनों को टिका के बिठा के रखने से अच्छा है कि एक से ही पक्की दोस्ती कर लो, दूसरे पे भरोसा नहीं. सो चाइना हैज लॉस्ट ऑल ट्रस्ट एंड फेथ इन पाकिस्तान because firstly they were incompetent in safeguarding the CPEC. Then there were too much of internal disturbances and interferences within their own government. What they did with Imran Khan, then Osama bin Laden being caught in Pakistan was an embarrassment for China also. So I think overall, with after Galwan, India not doing any business with China. And I remember whenever Diwali was there, so only made in China ki ladiyan lagti thi, and they were dirt cheap. And there was
Yes.
a drive at one point of time after Galwan that okay, let's boycott the Chinese equipment. And then COVID also came. So I think Galwan and followed by COVID, I think everything shut down against China. So China has definitely felt a very big blow economically, because we were the top business earners. And in fact, uh, reason why our economy has become strong is जो trade deficit China के साथ था वो control हो गया from COVID days onwards.
एक और एक चीज था कि हम चाइना से पहले फिनिश प्रोडक्ट्स लेते थे और आज हम इंटरमीडिएट प्रोडक्ट्स ले रहे हैं। मतलब आप ये समझ
Yes.
लीजिए। हाँ, और यहाँ पे आके हम उसको असेंबल कर रहे हैं या उसके अंदर कुछ वैल्यू एडिशन कर रहे हैं, एंड वी आर सेलिंग डाउन दैट टू अफ्रीका एंड अदर थिंग। तो चाइना को भी समझ में आ गया होगा कि इट इज बेटर कि हम ही इन्वेस्टमेंट कर देते हैं। लेट अस डू द इन्वेस्टमेंट इन इंडिया एंड वी लेट अस सेट अप इंटरमीडिएट प्लांट्स, एटलीस्ट वी विल बी सेफगार्डेड। तो एक तरह से रेडीमेड मार्केट मिलता है। 17% ऑफ द वर्ल्ड्स पॉपुलेशन है, राइजिंग इनकम पावर है, और जो
नहीं,
चाइनीज का
ब्रिक्स भी
जो
है ना, ब्रिक्स
ब्रिक्स भी है,
है, आरआईसी है. आरआईसी इज टू
आरआईसी है।
बेसिकली काउंटर क्वाड. That
यस,
is Japan, Australia, USA, and India was there. But I think after Trump's betrayal with India, I think India
बहुत
will
दिक्कत।
be very wise to keep an independent stance and be in good terms with China also, and Russia. So we are already in good terms, and I think BRICS will rise with China's influence, Russia's influence, and India by default. We don't have a choice. We can't
एंड
do, who,
एंड ऑल्सो वन
where
मोर
do we
थिंग,
go? Whom do
एंड
we
ऑल्सो
look
वन
up
मोर
to?
एंड ऑल्सो वन मोर थिंग इन दिस एससीओ समिट, वो बात भी हो रही है कि इंटरलिंकिंग ऑफ पेमेंट सिस्टम्स, एंड ऑल्सो इंडिया ने बोल
हाँ,
दिया है।
UPI, yes, yeah,
या
digital payments,
हाँ,
yes.
और इंडिया ने बोल दिया कि इफ यू वांट टू क्लियर द पेमेंट, सेटलमेंट पेमेंट करना है, यू कैन डू इन रुपीस टू द ब्रिक्स कंट्रीज। और अभी बात आ रही है कि अराउंड 130 वॉस्ट्रो अकाउंट खुल चुके हैं, और बताया जाता है कि एक बिलियंस ऑफ डॉलर्स जो अभी जो ट्रेड हो रहा है वो रुपीस में हो रहा है। और डॉलर का जो इंडिया में कंपोनेंट था जो ट्रेड का, 88% से 72% आ चुका है। तो बहुत बड़ा शिफ्ट आ रहा है वहां पे भी। एंड तो ये एक तरह से वी कैन सी लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स हैपनिंग। मेरा मेरा ये मानना है कि वांगी आ रहे हैं, देयर माइट बी सम
He has
लैंडमार्क
arrived,
एग्रीमेंट
he
आल्सो।
came today, yes, he came today. See, I'll
और
tell you one thing. If China really wants to open up a new chapter with India, it has to close the border issue once and for all. If it wants to win India's confidence completely, it should return back oxygen. As a result, India and China will become one of the strongest allies in the world, followed by Russia. As a result, Pakistan will become the next Ukraine if US lobbies and pitches Pakistan against China and India.
yes, you are absolutely right. If you see, रशिया है वन ऑफ द लार्जेस्ट रिसोर्सेस ऑन द अर्थ। आर्थिक तो उन्होंने देखा ही नहीं है, वहां पे भी 50 ट्रिलियन डॉलर्स के तो रिजर्व ऐसे ही पड़े हैं। इनफैक्ट
Hmm.
चाइना देखा जाए तो लार्जेस्ट कंज्यूमर, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग पावर हाउस, लार्जेस्ट प्रोड्यूसर एंड मैन्युफैक्चरिंग पावर हाउस, एंड इंडिया
Both.
राइजिंग पावर।
Hmm.
इंडिया इज अ राइजिंग ग्रोथ स्टोरी। सो एक तरह से जो बोलते हैं कि दिस थ्री कॉम्बो कैन एक्चुअली टेक ऑन नॉट इवन क्वाड बट इवन इट कैन टेक ऑन G7 ऑल्सो, और विद ब्रिक्स। तो एक तरह से वी कैन फाइट द कलेक्टिव ग्लोबल वेस्ट, और एक तरह से द न्यू चैप्टर माइट बी क्रिएटेड देयर विच वी कैन सी ग्लोबल वेस्ट वर्सेस ग्लोबल ईस्ट एंड साउथ। तो ये एक मुझे वो नजर आ रहा है चाइना के साथ अगर
I
हम जाते हैं।
strongly feel that the way we countered Pakistan in Op Sindoor and the amount of successful air, surface to air kills that we had and the missiles that we intercepted, China is really taken by surprise and shock कि भैया इनके पास ऐसी कैपेबिलिटी कब कब आई और कैसे आई. Secondly, there has been a deadlock. There has been no joint research, no interaction, nothing. So they are low on intelligence. So see, Chinese are very smart. They are like वो wolves नहीं होते या fox, rather they are foxes. So they are so smart कि वो they will go to any limit, किसी भी हद तक गिर सकते हैं to acquire the new status of India का कहां से information लाएं. So we've been cut off totally. So I think it is time that either they solve the border dispute. That means it is confirmed that if they do it, we will have no say in China's invasion of Taiwan at all. But our semiconductor purchase will be secure. But again, it depends on government policy because it is said all Chinese components and semiconductors are banned. We cannot buy from China. That, in a way, is helpful because I somehow feel what Trump is doing today in America is only going to encourage the Americans to set up firms so that they start production in their own country. So long run के लिए today's blunder what we say of Trump is basically he is making a secure and an independent America for tomorrow when America will not be a world power. He also knows it is temporary. So he is preparing America to be self-reliant.
यस, आपकी
बिकॉज
बात सही है।
बहुत हाँ बहुत लंबा गैप हो गया ना कि हम डेवलप्ड हैं। उन्होंने अपने ह्यूमन स्किल को एक्सपर्टीज को रिफाइन नहीं किया, अपग्रेड नहीं किया। क्यों? क्योंकि सारा काम तो चाइना कर रहा था, तो भाई इनकी सोसाइटी तो चिल कर रही थी। एज अ रिजल्ट टुडे अमेरिकन्स हैव lost the talent and the capability of doing groundbreaking research and inventing new inventions and making a difference in the world। सब कुछ बदल चुका है। 90% तो मैं देखता हूँ इंडियंस ही है वहां पे in related to software and computers, AI and digital world, Silicon Valley dominations, all the CEOs are Indians। तो I think they have to introspect and wake up। तो I think Trump is waking them up like this। तो थोड़ा तो झेलना पड़ेगा वहां की पब्लिक को। And it is a wake up call for India also that we have to be more strong and reliant, self-reliant।
आपको नहीं लगता कि ट्रम्प इज कॉपिंग मोदी जी? जैसे हमने यहाँ पे पीएलआई दिया चालू किया है, उसने वहां पे चिप्स एक्ट बनाना चालू कर दिया। और मागा जो है इट इज लाइक अमेरिकनाइज्ड फॉर्म ऑफ मेक इन इंडिया। तो
उनका क्रिप्टो इज गोइंग टू बी अ डिसअपॉइंटमेंट इन अ लॉन्ग रन आई थिंक, बिकॉज क्रिप्टो का जिस दिन प्लग किसी ने अनप्लग कर दिया ना, आई थिंक इट इज गोइंग टू बी डेवस्टेशन फॉर द अमेरिकन्स, नॉट फॉर इंडिया, बिकॉज इंडिया हैज अ वेरी लिमिटेड क्रिप्टो मार्केट। बट उनका तो उन्होंने पूरा डिजिटली डंप करके रखा है लिटरली पैसा। अब तो पाकिस्तान को भी हब बना दिया है। सो जो स्मार्ट कॉइन है ट्रंप का, है ना, ट्रंप मीम जो कॉइन है क्रिप्टो का एंड ऑल दीज थिंग्स, तो आई रियली आई डोंट नो द डे देयर इज वन वेरी फेमस इकोनॉमिस्ट हु सेज that the day when you realize who's handling crypto, he said the within minutes you will withdraw all your money। So it could be a secret agency, could be the CIA,
ये
yeah,
सर,
it could be anyone।
सर इसके ऊपर हम बाद में बात करेंगे सर। क्रिप्टो इज अ वेरी लॉन्ग
Done, I
टॉपिक।
know। Done, we'll do
हाँ, वो
that।
एक बहुत लंबा टॉपिक है। तो इसी में आप दैट विल टेक अ रियली डिफरेंट एंगल ऑल टुगेदर। बट सर हम आपको वापस बुलाएंगे अपने चैनल पे। इट वाज रियली वेरी गुड स्पीकिंग टू यू सर, एंड वी आर
Thank you।
नियरिंग टू 1 hour ऑफ कन्वर्सेशन। एंड सीरियसली सर, आई मेरे को तो बहुत कुछ करने का था, बट टाइम लिमिट देख के आई हैव टू रेस्पेक्ट द टाइम एंड अदर। इसके लिए
Done।
ठीक है सर। जय जय सिया राम।
जय श्री राम। थैंक यू। जय हिंद जी, जय हिंद।
थैंक यू।